Hello, everyone. This is Dorcas Chandler at dorcasgazelle.com. So glad that you've joined us and you're following us on our weight loss journey. We're just grateful for that. And what I'm finding out is that it's not only me dealing with pounds and um, eating and exercising, and I'm doing all of that, but it's also liberating my mind. And I am so grateful for the emails and the telephone calls and just the encouragement that you all are giving me to do better in my health and in my life. And I want to say this before I get started. I was asking God, I said, God, I started this website, Dorcas Gazelle, for people who were extremely overweight, like myself, and I wanted to reach that community. But I see that we're reaching a lot of people, and I've said it before, that are not really struggling with their weight, but they're going through a lot of other things. And so they've come to the website and they have emailed me and let me know that the website is also blessing them also. So I'm grateful for that. I got a call. I received a phone call. I'm just laying there in the bed one night and I went to sleep. And so a friend of mine had called me and she said, Dorcas, you know, your taping is not only helping people with weight, and that's what I was dealing with because I'm like, I'm missing it somewhere. The demographics that I wanted to talk to and try to help, I felt like I was missing it. So when my friend called me and told me, what her experience was for listening to the webcasting sessions, and she's not even overweight, it blessed me because she told me that she deals with weight in other areas. So on my website, dorcasgazelle.com, I would like for you to go there and read it because it's just such a blessing. It blessed me to know that sometimes you feel like you're missing something. What can I do to get more people that are really struggling with weight to really come online, and maybe I need to link to some different websites, or I just didn't know what to do. Should I have really started this? Maybe I was just too excited about what was happening in my life. So when I received this not email, I'm sorry, telephone call from my friend, it blessed me. And I asked her, would she write out what she had told me? And she did. So please go to dorcasgazelle.com and right under where you'll see the webcasting YouTube logo there, and where you click on to listen on the website, you'll see her testimony. And I would like for you to click on it and read it because it will bless you also. So today, the topic that I want to talk about is kind of, this is the topic, and we'll go from there. It's called Yeah, Huh, a Journey of a Man. And I know that this topic may seem kind of weird, but I pray that it will bless you. This just happened to me on my weight loss journey, and it blessed me so, and I hope it will bless you. No stories that I tell, however, on this webcasting is fake or phony, or they're not real. Every story that I uh, report has happened to me on my journey, and it has caused me to have a great awakening of what is happening to me. Health is very vital and important. And I'm telling you, when we start eating right and exercising, life just becomes sweeter. I mean, I see things totally different now than what I used to see them. And I'm so grateful for the transformation of not only my body, but my spirit, my soul, which is the soulish realm, my emotions, my feeling, and my body, all three. And it's just a good thing. I mean, it just feels so good, and I just want to tell the world, hey, what we're putting in our mouths, if we just really make a commitment to be better, to be healthy. This isn't a weight program. This is something that I choose to do because God have instructed me through my doctor, and I'm excited. I'm telling you, it has transformed my life. My thinking is totally different. So anyway, enough about me. I want to talk about this man that came to my home. He came to my home to update my telephone line to digital. And so when I called, because they kept telling me they were gonna, I was gonna lose my phone service if I didn't do it. They were sending somebody out to do it, and that I could ask the technicians any questions that I had. So here, this young man, and he couldn't be no more than 25, 26. I don't know. Um, he's young. He's in good shape, and I don't even know his name. But I tell you this, that's really not important. But he changed my way that I view life, and I see things differently. Because if we think sometimes that we're the only one that have had disappointments or things that we wanted in life and they have not been able to be manifested. You know, we've had dreams and visions and goals, and those things are not yet materialized. There's a lot of people that's walking around that have experienced the same thing. So I asked God that very morning in prayer. I was dealing with um, just wanting to be better. And I asked God to allow me, and this is just my journey, to have a mercy seat in my home and also in my heart. I wanted to stop being so hard, um, and the way that I view the world. And what we have to realize and understand that a lot of times the way that we view the world and the way that we just think that people need to do it like this, do it like this, do it like this, it has a lot to do with our conditioning of our uh, um, childhood, being brought up in certain things. And I certainly came up in a good home. I have great parents, and I wouldn't take nothing for them. Both of them are deceased now. But one thing about my parents is that they taught us to just walk the line. I mean, you know, you walk the line in my house. I mean, every clock in the house was 15 minutes fast, and there was no such thing called late. And my friends, they talk about me now because late is just something that bugs the life out of me. And there are different reasons why people are late, but I never could understand not one reason. I don't care what your reason is, you're still late. And there's just things that I look at people and I figure, why are you doing that? You got to walk in integrity. You got to do this and you got to do that. So what I found out within myself is that I'm putting my beliefs on other people, and those people that I'm putting my beliefs on may or may not have came up in the same type of household that I have came up in. So sometimes what I'm trying to make people toe the line, if you will, if they haven't been brought up where time is important, or whatever, and the things that we've been brought up, cleaning up. I mean, it's very hard for me to get somebody to really clean the way that I think they should clean, because, oh my goodness, our house was always clean. We never had a maid. I'm the only one that have a maid, somebody coming in. We never had a maid. We were the maid, and so you have these rigid moments where you're figuring, okay, this is the way it needs to be clean. So when you clean, put my stuff back. And what irritates me the most is when you take my stuff and put it somewhere or reposition it because it looks good to you. I don't care how it looked to you. It's my house. I'm paying you to do this, and I'm expecting you to put stuff back. It's little stuff. But I tell you, those little things that we've been brought up with, because my mom, when you dust, you had to put the stuff back where you got it from. Not rearrange it to look like what you want. That's her house and that's the way. So anyway, let me tell you this story about this man. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about me so that you can understand my thinking and my reasoning for a lot of things, for even asking God to give me a mercy seat in my heart. So um, I want mercy. And mercy simply means, for those of us who understand it and those of us who don't, it's just a refresher. It means compassion, it means forgiving, it means to just show love and consideration and understanding toward another person, not based on what you believe, but based on the situation. And so this man came in my house, and we were talking about the cable, and we were talking about the digital change. And so my thing was, hey, am I going to have a phone when you get through? And he told me he thought so. And I'm like, excuse me, you think so? I need my phone. And so anyway, we were talking and we were going over the details, and that's not important. But he told me, he said, well, can I go outside and look at your box on the outside? Because there was no longer going to be a box on the outside. They were doing everything from in the house. So I told him, sure. Now he's taking a long time outside. And so again, I'm talking to you about time. Look, I wonder what he's doing. Why is he taking so long? It doesn't take that long to look at a box. And I'm sitting there, and because it's my time to eat my lunch, and he's shackling me down. So there I was, and I was waiting and waiting, and then I said, you know what? I'm getting up and I'm going to fix my lunch because this guy is taking too long. So anyway, I go in the kitchen and I start preparing my lunch. And then after I'm preparing my lunch, then here he comes. And so he came up in the kitchen and he looked at what I was fixing and he said, wow, that is a healthy lunch. And I said, yeah, yeah. But in my mind, I'm like, hey, we're not talking about my lunch. We're talking about you finishing the job because you said it was going to be about 2 hours. Get the job done and move on. And so anyway, um, he started talking about my lunch and how healthy it looked. And I said, yeah. And so we went on. And then all of a sudden, he shifts gears. And he tell me, I always wanted to be a soccer player. And I got hurt. And I said, okay, but I'm still fixing my lunch. He said, I got hurt. And I said, okay. He said, but that's all I ever wanted to be. And I said, okay. And he said, but when I got hurt, this young guy, he's saying, I hurt my good knee. And he said, when you're trying to play ball, if you get hurt, they don't want you no more. And so whatever had came up in his life or transpired in his life, he knew that he was not going to be able to play ball anymore. And so he kept talking about his injury. And he had showed me the leg that got injured. And so then I was like, okay. And so then he said, and I went through a very bad depression. And that stopped me because I remembered what I said. Lord, give me a mercy seat in my heart. And I stopped and I looked at him. He said, I went through a really, really bad depression. And he kept saying that. And I said, okay. He said, what is it about life? You plan to do things and then it doesn't work out. And I'm looking at him and he said, it just doesn't work out. And I could see that he was so disappointed in life because he wanted to play ball and he's not couldn't play ball. And I looked at him and I said, I said, life does give us things that we sometimes don't anticipate or we're not looking for. Yeah, huh? And I said, yeah. And I said, But you know what? I said, the situation that I'm in right now, I wasn't looking for this situation. I said, but what happened to me was I walked in my school one day, and I'm talking to this guy, and I didn't want to get into the details. I said, I walked into my school one day, and then the next thing, the same day, I'm being carried out on a stretcher. He's like, huh? And I'm saying, because a car ran through my wall of my school. And I said, and there I am in the hospital, and then life just shifted and changed my whole world. And I wasn't even looking for all these things, but they happened. And so he said, really? And I said, yeah. I said, but you know what? I said, my journey that I'm on right now with my weight and what I'm trying to do to get myself back in shape and the things I'm trying to do, I said, this is the best journey I've ever had. And he was like, huh? And I was like, yeah. I said, you know why? And he's like, why? I said, because I meet the neatest people. And I know that if the car hadn't came through the school and everything hadn't have happened, I wouldn't be doing this. I said, but I'm doing this and I meet the neatest people. And he said, yeah, huh? He said, you know what? I meet new people too. I said, see there? And I said, yeah. I said, you may not be playing ball. I said, but you got a job. You have a job. And he was like, yeah, huh? I said, and look at you, you know. And he told me, he said, so what kind of school did you have? And I said, a computer school. And he said, a computer school? And he told me, he said, you know what? I said, what? He says, I'm going to school for computer. I said, good for you. He said, I want to be a computer engineer. And I said, now look at you. And this is what turned the whole thing. I said, when he told me he wanted to be a computer engineer, I said, you know what? And he said, what? I said, I am so proud of you. And he's a Hispanic man. And I mean, he turned red. He said, you are? And I told him, yes, I'm proud of you. Because in spite of what life has thrown you, you've decided to get up. You got a job. You're going to school. You're making something out of yourself. He was like, yeah, huh? And I was like, yeah. And the conversation went on, and I began to talk to him and encourage him, you know, to keep going, to keep doing what he was doing. And then he told me, and you know what else? And I said, what? He says, I have a baby. I said, you have a baby? I said, well, look at you. I said, you're even a father. And I said, how old is your baby? And he told me that the baby was 2 months old. I said, look. I said, things may not have happened the way that you wanted them to happen, but look at all the good that has come out of it and the things that you're doing. And he was like, yeah, huh? You know, and I just began to talk to him, and he just kept shaking my hand. You know, every once in a while, he just shake my hand, you know, and I would shake his hand back. And I told him, I said, you're going to make it. And I encouraged that man. And so I told him, as we were standing there, I said, now you need to get out of here. I said, what are you going to do? And he said, you know, they need to reschedule because he didn't have all the parts. And I told him, I said, I want you to go ahead and get out of here because I don't want your job to think that you're goofing off on your job. You know, that's what they're paying you for, and you need to go ahead and go to your next job. And so he said, okay. He shook my hand again, and I don't know how many times he shook my hand. And so then he started to go out, and he came back, and he said, you know what? And I said, what is that? And these are the words he said, you're a miracle. And I said, I'm a miracle. You are a miracle. And at that point, I stopped. And I realized that no matter what I've been through and what I will go through, that I'm a miracle. And I wanted him to know, not only am I a miracle, but you're a miracle. Because anybody that goes through anything that seems to be out of the ordinary and you choose to get up and go on with your life, you got to know that you are a miracle. So I looked at my weight, and I looked at what I'm doing after the young man left, and come back and shook my hand again. And this man was so encouraged when he walked out. He did not walk in my house one way and walk out the same way. But God blessed me just to share with him just a few things. And I believe I may never see him again. But I believe that that young man took another look at himself. And then, so after he left and I was dealing with that, you're a miracle. I start thinking about all the things that have transpired. A miracle is something you can't do yourself. It's something that's out of the ordinary. It's something that people will see and they'll wonder why. They'll be in amazement. And so when before the guy walked out and he said, "You're a miracle," I said, "Hey, do you go to church?" And he said, "Nah." He said, "I don't go to church. I work on Sunday." And I said, "Oh, okay." And he turned around and he said, "You know what? But I should." I said, "Good for you." Because we always have to give God what's due to him. And he said, "Yeah, okay, okay, okay." When we encourage people, encouragement is something that causes, like if you take a blind man, if you encourage him, you'll cause him to see inside of himself again. If you take a person who's deaf and can't hear, they'll begin to speak inside of themselves and talk again inside of themselves. They may not can hear, but something will jump inside of them. It could be just a touch on the shoulder. It could be a gesture. It could be something that we do. And if you take a lame person, I believe that a lame person will walk again. Yes, I am a miracle. I'm not the only one a miracle. You're a miracle. Why are you a miracle? Because you're still standing regardless of what you've been through. And that's what I wanted to come and admonish us. My secretary, she just left here and she said, "Dorcas, you inspire me. You're a blessing," and she was talking about because she was over here in my office and I was over there in my bed, and I'm trying to be careful at night because I can get up any time in the night when I stop sleeping and I do exercise. And she told me, I heard you counting, I'm doing my exercise. And she said, and now, she's getting up over here in my office and she's doing exercise. And we talked about food, and I talked about how that I cannot go back. I cannot allow a lot of foods in my house that I know is going to tempt me. Because you see, if you bring it in your house, if you bring things in your house that you know that you're having trouble with, you're going to have trouble. Because our thoughts are what controls our mind. And the next thing you know, we'll be going for it. Somebody had given me this big cake while she was here. And then I thought about it. I was over there doing my exercise, and I was laying in the bed after I did them, and I said, "You know what? That cake got to go. I'm sorry. It's got to go." My first thought was cut it up and put it in the freezer. For what? That cake has got to go. And I asked her, "Do you want to take this cake home?" And she told me no. I said, "The cake has got to go." I said, "I cannot afford to turn around now. I am not going to turn around now. With God's grace, God is going to help me." And I told her, I said, "God has been too good to me." And when my secretary first got here, she was like, "Look at you." Because I can do so much better from when the last time she seen me. So hey, I just want to encourage you to let you know that you are a miracle. And sometimes situations, like I say, come in our lives, and yours might not be food, but it just may be things in your mind that you're dealing with, and we have to shift the focus, and we have to change what we're thinking about, because what we're thinking about controls us. It controls our emotions and our thoughts. And if we're not thinking right thoughts, it will cause us to be weighted down, not only in our physical body, but it will weight us down in our spirit. So these are the things that I want to share with you. And also I'm going to tell you something else that'll weigh you down. You can be small and eating the wrong things, and just because your metabolism does what it do, sometimes you might think that you're getting away with it, and maybe you are, I don't know, but these are just some things that I want to tell you. Weight is more than food, and that's one of the things that I have on my website. Weight is more than food, because see, you can be having a lot of sugar and all these different things that going on, and a lot of carbs and just a lot of things, and it clouds your mind. It causes you moods and just different things. So you might want to consider speaking with your doctor and changing your diet to be more healthy, because as we be more healthy, I believe that we can transform our own body so that we can go and help somebody else. And that's what I'm hoping I'm doing. And I was thinking, I said, after I started, these webcasting, I'm doing so much better in my mind, because to me it's like talk therapy. I'm talking and I'm understanding what's going on with me. I stop, I take rest. My body's in pain, I know it's in pain. I don't ignore my pain. I used to just ignore my pain. But we cannot just keep walking. If we're having pain, we need to deal with it. And if it's pain that we can't deal with by ourselves, then we definitely need to seek out someone to help us walk through our journey of life. And our journey of life is not about us. I'm on a journey, but as I walk, I realize that there's a lot of people that are watching me, and I don't want to do anything to discredit God and my walk with God, because I realize that what I'm doing now is the most important thing in my life. And hey, I hope it's yours too. And that guy, he just kept saying, "Yeah, huh?" And I just um, condensed his story. But I'm telling you, that is the neatest young man that I ever met. And I just pray for him that God's blessings will go upon him and that he will continue to do good. He's up out of depression, and I thank God for that. And so let's just encourage each other. This week, try to find somebody. You don't want nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. You're not calling because you need money, or you're not wanting them to do something for you. But can you just say, hey, you know what? You make the difference in my life. Bam! I'm telling you, encouragement works. I love you. This has been Dorcas Chandler at dorcasgazelle.com. You be blessed, and you have a wonderful evening. I'm sorry I had to come back, because I want to make sure that you go to dorcasgazelle.com and read my friend's letter, because I mean, it will bless you. It is so good, whether you're having problems with weight or whether you're not. Okay, until next time.